There's more to being a Buffalo Bills fan than breaking tables. Welcome to the More Than Breaking Tables podcast, a show about what really makes up the greatest fan base in the NFL. We're talking football with experts and fans from around the country. Here's your host and proud member of Bills Mafia, Connor Kobus.
Bills Mafia, what's going on? Welcome to this special Victory Tuesday episode of More Than Breaking Tables. Connor Kobus, your host, alongside my trusted sidekick, Pasquale Maggiore. Pasquale, the Bills are 1-0. You were at the game. I was at the game. What are your thoughts? Give me your initial reaction.
Just a real quick question. The gentleman that voiced over that intro, is he Canadian or from like Wisconsin or something?
His name's John Gay. He's from Detroit. He's a Patriots fan.
So is he like we're talking, so he's from Detroit, but he's very close to Windsor, so maybe there's some spillover of the accent and whatnot?
Yeah.
I was just curious about that. How did you line that up, by the way?
With him, I have a connection through college. I had a mutual connection, messaged him on social media, had his number, and went from there.
Basically like a Great Lakes.
But Pasquale, what are we talking about the intro for? We're talking about the Bills game. Get your head right. Get your head right.
I've been meaning to ask you that.
Okay, hey, that's something you do off air, and then we talk about the Bills on this podcast.
I once did a Turnbuckle Talk radio show on WBNY at Buff State and didn't talk about wrestling for the first 15 minutes. So I have the ability to kind of go off script and talk about other things. But I like where you're going with that. And do you want to, instead of going right into it, why don't we paint a picture? Why don't we talk about the events that led up to the game? How was your tailgate? How did you feel when you woke up in the morning? What did the day look like for Connor Kobus? The people that are watching this show on Facebook, on YouTube, on X want to know what happened when you woke up in the morning. Do you have a routine for Bills game? I know no matter what I eat throughout the course of the day, I am always hungry. That feeling came back when I was watching the Jets and the Steelers game. But what about you, Connor? How did your day look before we got to Highmark Stadium on Sunday night?
Well, since it was a night game, I knew I had a full day of football on my plate. So I started the 1 o'clock games by watching NFL Red Zone, and there were some great 1 o'clock games to be had. That Steelers-Jets game was very exciting. We're going to talk about the Jets leading up to that game this week. Did that for 3 hours. Then I figured it was time to head to the stadium, picked up a friend, grabbed our beer, went to 46 Pilger Place, which is one of the best tailgates in Buffalo. Had my McUltras stocked up, cold, ready to go. My friend made jalapeno popper dip. I did make a rookie mistake at the tailgate, assuming there would just be food for me to eat. You always have to bring your own food to the tailgate. Did not do that, and mistakes were made to the tune of a $100 bill at the Highmark concession stand for hot dogs, pretzels, and some of their beers that I bought friends. But the tailgate was a success. Played some flip cup. There was an RV parked in my cousin's lot. They were giving out shots. We were blasting the music. The vibes going into the game were elite. How about yourself?
Where is Pilger? Tell me a little bit more about this magical land known as.
It's if you go past Danny's, it's on Abbott on the other side of the stadium. So away from the southwestern side. I picked up my friend at 3:30. We didn't get there till 4:45. So there was a ton of traffic.
Yeah, I left my house at 4:30 like you did. I watched that full Jets Steelers game. Go Aaron Rodgers, but again, I was hungry all day. Woke up, had breakfast, had a snack in between breakfast and lunch, had another snack between leaving for the game and the end of the Steelers-Pittsburgh game. Got to the parking lot where I parked on Sheldon at about 5:30, had a couple high noons, met up with some friends, did a little walking around, checking out the sights and the sounds, came back, had a chicken dinner, which I got from my local fire hall that morning, had some popcorn. We were ready to go into the stadium, feeling pretty good. I am not buying alcohol in the stadium this year. I'm a hard seltzer kind of guy, and I'm not a big fan of Vizzy, so I don't want to spend $19 on something that I'm not a fan of. So had 4 high noons walking up, felt pretty good. And I'm not that kind of person that needs to drink throughout the game. I just need to drink to get through the tailgate, to get into the stadium, and then I can kind of ride it out and enjoy the game. Back when the Bills were 4-12 and 11 and whatever, 11-5, back when they were terrible, the Dick Duran years, the Chan Gailey years, I used to see how much I could drink, how much I can go to the bathroom during the game because the football was so bad. But now I want to focus on the football, and I was feeling pretty good when we went in. It kind of wore off, and then we were ready to go.
Yeah, and what a game it was. For the last season at the Highmark, probably the best home opener the Bills have had, you could argue. The Ravens came ready to play. We'll talk about the Bills' defense and some areas of concern, but we were down 14 points going into the fourth, got down 12 again with 5 minutes to go, and Matt Prater, who we signed from to the practice squad onto the team, comes through making the game-winning kick. He was just signed to the roster. With Bass being out, I think we have a little bit of a kicking controversy on our hands.
I'm not going to go that far with controversy. How was your section? Did you have a lot of Ravens fans around you?
I did, and I'm going to kind of go back to Prater, though. With kickers, you have to go with who's hot, and if he's kicking well, I don't see a reason to bring Bass back anytime soon.
Wasn't he on the IR anyways?
Yeah, so he's gone for 4 weeks.
Right, there we go. Then we don't really need to have this conversation yet because he's not back.
All right, well, good luck for Prater then.
So when I got into the stadium, as I mentioned, we have new seats, and I was very excited to be sitting on the aisle. But we had a very obnoxious, very boisterous Ravens fan who was in the next section over, sitting by himself, might I add, and having a lot of words with the people around us. So it was kind of like a back and forth type thing. I'm not the type of person that's going to engage an opposing team's fan unless they're being like complete and total jerks and they're, making trouble for people around. Surprisingly, I didn't see a lot of trouble in the stands. I didn't see a lot of fights going on. I'm not sure. Where were you sitting again?
I was in 221, end zone, rock pile area. There was Ravens fans. Listen, I like chirping during the game as long as it's like not crossing any lines. So let the Ravens fans talk all they want. Zay Flowers was taunting the fans too with the Ravens. Ultimately, who got the dub? The Bills did, 1-0.
Yeah, I like chirping to a certain extent as well, but people need to realize they're not in their own stadium, so they need to be humbled maybe a little bit. So it was kind of good. Nice back and forth game. We started out pretty hot, and then, the Ravens took over, kind of a little back and forth affair, and then the Ravens really dominated, and this guy would not shut the hell up. And I didn't really mind the new section that we were sitting in. The people behind us seemed like they were quite possibly on a first date, and imagine going to a Bills home opener on a first date. A lot of unnecessary non-football conversations going on.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're there for the game. That's an interesting one. I don't know if I would choose that myself. But just looking at the game in general, last episode we predicted the Bills' schedule, and you persuaded me to align with you for 17-0. One thing that we did not predict was season awards. Josh won the MVP last year, and it was close with him and Lamar. I'm going to double down and say he reigns again as the MVP, and I don't think it's going to be particularly close. If you look at his numbers in this game, 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. He had 250 yards in the fourth quarter, and this is against a great Ravens defense. I think he's really coming into his own. I think some of these pieces that we were questioned going into the game, Keon Coleman showed up. Joshua Palmer showed up. Dalton Kincaid caught the first touchdown. He's got the weapons, and I think this is going to be a season where he just blows people out of the water again.
Yeah, this everybody eats mentality, as they say. I liked it a lot. I was very happy to see both Kincaid and Coleman with a touchdown on the score sheet. We really needed that. The one thing that really concerns me, though, and again, if I'm speaking out of school or if I'm just being an idiot, even if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, don't be afraid to comment below. I just feel there's such a lack of creativity when it comes to the red zone offense. You can't give it to Josh every play, have him run it in. You got to get a little more creative. You got to get more people involved. And it's just very frustrating and concerning when they get down to the 20-yard line and beyond. You're not sure what to expect because there just seems to be, once again, no creativity. And I need to see a little bit more out of that red zone offense. You know, we're going to go 17-0, but I don't want every game to be by 2 points. I want to see them go into MetLife Stadium this Sunday and blow the Jets off the field. I want to come back home next Thursday. I want to see them kick the Dolphins in the teeth. I want to go back that following weekend and see them just beat the Saints to an oblivion. This is obviously a different level team. We're talking about the Ravens compared to the 3 other teams that I just mentioned, but I want to see more creativity out of the offense. Now, granted, it's early in the season.
Well, time out. I'm gonna pause you right there. We just scored 41 points. So why is your concern on the offensive side of the ball? I think for me, it's the defense.
I'm not saying it's a concern. I'm saying that I need to see a little bit more out of the red zone offense. Yes, they are scoring points, but every play can't be Josh Allen running it in. Every play can't be the stupid tush push or whatever they're calling it this year. I need to see.
So what kind of plays do you want to see in the red zone?
I don't know. I'm not a football guy. I want to be entertained as a football fan. Let's get some tight end action in there. Let's get some more Dalton Kincaid, some more Dawson Knox. Let's get some more Hawes. It's like Hawes dropped at the 1 yard line. That wasn't a touchdown. James Cook got cut down at the 2 yard line or whatever. That wasn't a touchdown. But I want to see innovative plays within those 20 yards and really look like an offense that is not going to let up and they're just going to step on their opponent's throats. And I don't feel like we've gotten that. Yes, we scored over 40 points, but still, it's the way that we got it, the way we got there. I don't want to sound like I'm complaining that I have no bread when I have a ham underneath my left arm, but that's a Sopranos reference there. It's not exactly perfect, but it's as close as it's going to get. I just want to see them be a little more innovative, a little more creative in the red zone. Not complaining, just stating.
Okay, that's fair. I see no problem with the offense as constructed right now. We'll see if Joe Brady decides to change up the playbook in the red zone going forward. I'll be honest, the defense is a huge concern for me. We saw it in the preseason in a couple games. Derrick Henry ran all over us once again. Lamar Jackson had a big game for the Ravens. We can't just expect Josh to be able to go out and put 40 points up every single game. He's not going to be perfect. You got to be able to hold some of these offenses that are elite in the league to a certain amount of points where Josh can go out and win the game. Great comeback. But without that fumble from Ed Oliver, I don't know if we're sitting here 1-0. So the defense did make a play when they needed to with that fumble caused by Ed Oliver, who had a great game, but giving up 40, and the Jets just put up 30 against the Steelers, so they're going to have a tall task on their hands in week 2.
Yeah, I think I'm not really worried about the Jets at all. The Jets they have a new coach, so you're going to have that burst of energy. You were at your season, your home opener, so you get energy from that. I think the Jets are going to come back to reality this week when they play the Bills. They're always a tough test for us. Their defense seems to play Josh Allen well. We'll see if that happens this coming Sunday, but the defense held up enough to win the game. So I know, we gave up way too many points, gave up way too many yards, but we're playing the runner-up of the NFL MVP, and we're playing a really good running back with a couple of good receivers mixed in there as well, and a team that's been together for quite a long time. Their main parts, Lamar Jackson, obviously, and that scheme together for quite a long time. As much as I don't want to give them credit because I can't stand John Harbaugh, they're, for the most part, maybe not so much, though, a well-coached team, and, you can't take that away from them. They're one of the top 3 teams in the AFC, so you're going to expect that kind of game. If Kansas City comes in here on November 2nd and puts up 42 points, then I will be a little concerned, but we're still getting the kinks worked out. We still have some injury problems, still have some things to work out. If the offense is putting up over 40 points, the defense should be able to still hold, and we should still be able to win, even if we give up 28 or 35 points or whatever it is. I'm not going to really get too concerned in the first week of the season.
Yeah, and one thing, too, you'd have to say to an extent the Ravens blew this game. My biggest issue with how they handled the final 3 minutes of the game, they had an opportunity to go for it on 4th and short in their own territory, and the option was either do that or punt the ball to Josh Allen. Why would you ever want to give him the ball with 2 minutes to go with an opportunity to take the lead when all he needed was a field goal? I feel like that's just a really conservative play call that basically gave the game to the Bills.
I'm not really a big fan of shoulda, woulda, coulda. I heard people complaining and saw people complaining on social media, the lowest form of communication about that whole failed 2-point conversion, and the Bills should have kicked the extra point. Well, in the end, the Bills won the game, so it didn't matter. So, I mean, if you want to make something of yourself and continue to act like Sean McDermott is not a competent NFL head coach, that's on you. Good for you. You know, if you're trying to get people to engage with you and join your cause to get rid of Sean McDermott and bring in.
Hold on, you're getting me off the rails right now. I don't think we're talking about two different games. You're talking about the playoff game from last year.
No, I'm talking about the Ravens game.
Okay, so why
conversion?
What'd you say? No, we're not talking about the 2-point conversion.
You're talking about shoulda, woulda, couldas, and so.
No, I'm just saying the Ravens punted to us when they should have went for it to win the game.
Right, and if they didn't do that and it would have ended up a different way, then who cares? It doesn't matter. It's like I'm talking about the 2-point conversion that got called back because of the penalty. People say that the Bills should have went for the extra point. Well, it turned out not mattering. So, I mean, if you want to go back and, you know, talk about that stuff that, once again, shoulda, woulda, coulda, just to fill a half hour of time. I mean, you can do that, but I'm on to the Jets. The Bills won the game. There's a couple things we talked about, and we talked about it. So that's all I got to say about that.
Definitely, and my whole thing with that was propping up Josh Allen. Is if he's got the ball with the chance to win the game in the final 2 minutes, I feel great as a Bills fan. We've seen it happen before. Exactly. So as an opponent, you don't want him having the ball in his hands, just like a Tom Brady or a Patrick Mahomes in the final 2 minutes. So I was happy that they did punt the ball to us. That's playing right into our hand, especially with how the defense played.
Yeah, it's what is it? Paralysis by overanalysis by John Harbaugh. There. That's why.
Yeah, you cannot give Josh Allen the ball.
That's why I kind of alluded to the Ravens are a well-coached team, but maybe again they are not a well-coached team.
Yeah, I mean he's won a Super Bowl, but with having this roster that they've had with the Ravens for this many years, you know he's under pressure to win a Super Bowl too. So we'll have to see what they do.
His family is just really annoying. They annoy me.
You like his brother Jim?
I think his father's a jerk. I think his brother's a jerk. If they have a younger brother, I bet he's a jerk too. Just a family of jerks.
Freaking jerks. More than breaking tables. All right, so 1-0 over the Ravens. Now we travel to the Jets on Sunday. The Bills are 6.5-point favorites for all you bettors out there. It's going to be at MetLife Stadium. Justin Fields, new quarterback for the Jets. New coach, defensive coordinator from the Lions, who's now over there. And they did play a tough game against the Steelers. We know the Jets have given us some fits with how good their defense is. So what do you think about the upcoming matchup?
I'm pretty confident. I think they need to prove themselves once again on a week-by-week basis. I think they want to go into MetLife Stadium and kind of prove a point. And once again, I believe the Jets were riding a high by having a new coach and opening up the season. Seeing Aaron Rodgers on the other side of the field, apparently, you know, he rubbed a lot of the unprofessional players on the Jets the wrong way. You know, not being around greatness like Aaron Rodgers. They're used to being around their own teammates who aren't that great, you know, mid-level NFL players. They have a player or two that come in and then they leave because the team isn't very successful. They've been through how many coaches over the last 10 years. It really is a joke of an organization, a joke of a franchise. And why anybody would expect them to win even one game is beyond me. We saw the Dolphins take it on the chin from the Indianapolis Colts, and I feel the same way about the Dolphins this year. And I'm not going to act like the Jets have a chance of winning this game on Sunday.
Okay, I mean, that's extreme confidence, and with the way our defense played against Baltimore, I do not agree with that with you. I think they can put up points against the defense, and we know the Jets have given us problems. I wish I had that super high optimism, but it's just not there for me.
I don't understand, like, why? Because of Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson?
Yeah, and Justin Fields put up 30 against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense that's very good. So they're going to be coming another home game. Our defense can't stop the run, and we haven't proven to do that. So what makes you think this is going to be a blowout victory for the Bills?
Because we just beat Lamar Jackson, Derek Henry.
It's the NFL any given Sunday.
Right.
Any given Sunday.
What makes you think, aside from the fact that the Jets actually kind of ran the ball on Sunday, that they can beat the returning AFC East champions?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just telling you what Justin Fields did in the first game in that offense. I think they're going to be competitive. It's a 6.5-point spread. That's a touchdown football game. It's a division game. Those are always close. So I'd be happy with a Bills 27-17 win. If we can do that, the defense holds in 17, Josh does what he needs to do, that's an amazing win. I'm not expecting 40 points.
How consistent has Justin Fields been in his NFL career on the 3 teams that he's been on? I might be forgetting a team maybe who's on.
Yeah, he showed some progress with the Bears. When he was at the Steelers last year, he had a winning record until Russell Wilson came back from injury, and they decided to go with Russell Wilson. He's really not that bad of a quarterback. And if we're looking at the teams that did play week 1 in the division, I would rank the Jets as who looked the best compared to the Patriots and Dolphins.
If he's not that bad of a quarterback, why has he been on 3 different teams?
It hasn't worked out. The Bears ended up drafting Caleb Williams. Everyone gets second chances. Why did Sam Darnold not work out with the Jets? Sam Darnold went to the Vikings. Oh, did he? Well, he found himself with the Vikings. Led him to 14 wins last year.
Well, let's see what he does this year. He had one.
Exactly. We will see.
I'm not going to act like Justin Fields is like a competent NFL quarterback.
I think he can run an offense fine.
Got too much baggage around his neck.
Listen, I'm all on the train with you about the undefeated season, but I don't want to make it seem like the Bills are just head and shoulders above every single opponent.
Hey, if you want to downgrade it, you can downgrade it. I mean,
play the humble card.
To each their own.
I'm not going to downgrade against the Dolphins and the Saints. I think those are going to be blowout victories for the Bills for sure. I just think the Jets will be a tougher game.
Hey, we agree to disagree.
Let's fair.
Let's move on.
What would you like to talk about next, Pasquale?
Can we talk about this idiot at the stadium that pushed 2 Ravens players?
Yeah, he hit DeAndre Hopkins on the helmet. Lamar ended up doing some pushing. Probably was 10 or 12 beers deep. They found out who he was. He's suspended from all NFL stadiums. So hope it was worth it, but kind of a dumb action. And what are your thoughts?
Yeah, he looked kind of young and stupid. How old was he? Did you find that information?
I didn't know how old he was, but it wouldn't surprise me if he was young.
Yeah, I've mentioned before, I am not a fan of a lot of Bills fans. And when things like this happen, it just makes it look 10 times worse. You got this idiot on the sideline. We were all frustrated, but we're not going down and pushing players and, causing a ruckus. If you have those seats and you're right on the field like that, you got to have a little bit of trust there. The players have to trust that, some psychopath is not going to push them or try to jump over, even worse. Or I heard some stories, too, about people were throwing bottles at Ravens players, too. I'm not sure if that was credible, if that's legit, but I did hear some stories about that. Need to do my own research before we go.
All that stuff's bullshit, and it's classless by Bills fans. You don't do that. There's only There's only one sporting event it's appropriate to get kicked out of, and that's a WNBA game. That's it.
Correct.
Everything else, come on, guys. They're paid athletes. Don't stoop down to their level. Just enjoy the game. You want to chirp at them a little bit, that's okay, but people take it too far.
Yeah, but it's the same people that'll be throwing the snow in December and January in the playoffs, and they wonder why, the teams get frustrated. And, Lamar Jackson, he's got to be the bigger man there, too. Pretty decent shove there by Lamar. I'm not a fan of Lamar, but I will give him credit for giving that shove, but he's got to be a little bit smarter. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more behind this when it comes to, Erie County, maybe the state of New York, the NFL getting involved. To see, I know somebody posted a fake video saying that was the guy giving an apology, which is just kind of stupid. Anybody that falls for that is pretty dumb. It was pretty cheesy looking. Did the old Bobby the Brain Heenan gimmick and pulled out the neck brace. But really, there's no room for people like that. And if he is not able to ever come back in Highmark Stadium, the old one, or the current one, I should say, and the new one, I'm happier about that. Let him go to Buffalo Wild Wings and drink all the Mountain Dew or Diet Pepsi he wants and watch the game that way, eat those horrible wings with those terrible sauces, but don't come back in Highmark Stadium again, and good riddance to you.
Yeah, and my question to you is, I'm sure there's been hundreds of people that have been banned from NFL stadiums. How do they enforce that with 70,000 people coming to a game on a weekly basis? Can you just come back in, you think? How do they enforce that stuff?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question because, obviously...
It's not like a wanted picture is post up when you're going in through the tickets.
No. And I'm hoping that those weren't somebody else's seats, because when you become a Bills season ticket holder, an NFL season ticket holder, you got to sign a code of conduct policy. So if somebody let him use those seats and, he's acting a fool like that, that's going to be a problem not only for him, but the people that have the tickets, because I would imagine that their tickets would be the one that would be flagged, and then they have to come up with some big explanation as to why they let this idiot, take those tickets and push two Ravens players in the head.
Yeah. Well, it was a high-scoring affair against the Ravens. Tons of plays were made. What play stood out to you as like your play of the game? What was Pasquale's play of the game?
It's got to be Ed Oliver taking down Derrick Henry, because you hear so much about Derrick Henry, you see so much about Derrick Henry basically running downhill on everybody and not being able to be stopped. Ed Oliver just stuffing him in the backfield definitely has to be the top play in my opinion.
That's great. You chose the defensive side of the ball. For my play of the game, it was on offense, that fourth down play where the ball was tipped by Knox. Keon Coleman caught it in the back of the end zone. People are debating that play if Josh meant to throw it to Coleman the whole time and Knox just put his hand up and got a piece of it. Either way, when a ball's deflected, you have to be very concentrated to make the catch. Seeing Coleman in his second year come up with that was just huge in my opinion.
Yeah, I guess the only one that knows the answer to that question is Josh himself, and I'm not imagining we're going to speak to him anytime soon.
Well, that's where you would be wrong. Coming in live from One Bills Drive, Josh Allen's on the phone. Josh, are you there? Can you hear me? It looks like we got disconnected. Maybe next week's episode.
I think we got pranked. All right. What else happened in the world of the Buffalo Bills last week? We don't have Hard Knocks to talk about.
We don't, which is good. I'm glad Hard Knocks is over with. Chiefs went down. Did you see that?
I didn't get to watch the game because I was in another country, but I did see that they did lose the game.
Yeah, lost to the Chargers. We love when the Chiefs lose. Their division's insane this year. So good luck with that schedule that they have. Chiefs are playing the Eagles this week. I'm taking the Eagles. What about you?
Yeah, I'll take the Eagles.
I'll take the Eagles. Give me some birds. I think the Chiefs' schedule is brutal, and I just think the time's over for them. But we'll see. The rest of the season is going to unfold.
And some Bills merchandise news. This week it came out, the McFarlane figure, the McFarlane sports figures that come out. There's another Josh Allen figure coming out in the Color Rush jersey, so I will have to purchase that. You can't see my display case behind me because I forgot to turn the lights on, but I will put that figure proudly in that display case with the two other Josh Allen figures that I have back there.
And your collection continues to grow and grow. Love it. Next week's episode, you can turn the lights on so we get a little bit of glimpse of that, okay?
Yeah, next week we'll be talking about a big Bills win in East Rutherford, New Jersey at MetLife Stadium. And then I'm going to listen to WFAN all day on Monday to bathe in the tears of New York Jets fans when they realize that they will not win a single game in 2025 and 2026.
Bold takes by Pasquale Majori. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be honest, the whole deal with the Bills this year, go out and win a Super Bowl. And after the game with the Ravens, I do feel good about the win coming back. But if you talk to me about like this team and my thoughts of the Super Bowl, it took a little bit of a hit with that game. So I need them to reaffirm my belief in them. Defense has got to show up. Josh continues to do what he has to do. And we need to stack wins early on in this schedule. We have a lot of cupcake opponents before we get to the second half where we have to play the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Texans, the Eagles. So let's take care of business.
Yeah, my friend and I had a conversation before we headed into Highmark Stadium talking about how insignificant the regular season has become, and we just need to get to the playoffs, and that's where anything matters. So, I mean, it's, like you said, we're going to kind of sleepwalk through this first half of the schedule, and then things get a little more serious. Not going to take the Texans that seriously yet, but you mentioned the
beat us last year.
Yeah, but I mean that was a long time ago. The Eagles game is going to be a big game, so we'll focus on those as they get closer.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it all pans out, and we're going to see as the season unfolds which teams earn Pasquale's respect as we go into those said matchups, and which teams he thinks we're going to beat 64-0.
Yes, correct. That's how we do it.
Well, that'll do it for this week's episode. It was great recapping the Ravens game. You can follow me on X at Connor Kobus, as well as Instagram at Connor Kobus17. Pasquale, do you want to give your plugs?
Yeah, we are just under 3 weeks away from Buffalo Championship Wrestling's Big Fall Bash, an evening of family-friendly, local, and live professional wrestling action at the Renaissance Club in North Tonawanda, 252 Vanderbilt Street. We start at 6:30. We have 5 big matches currently scheduled for this family-friendly event, bcw-wny.com to buy tickets for that, or find us on social media at bcwwny. As far as I go, you can see on my lower third there. You can find me on Instagram at WNY Pasquale, or you can add me as a friend on Facebook. Just put that name in. I don't really deny Facebook friend requests unless I really don't like the people, which right now I have like 4 people in my queue that I'm not going to accept. I'm just going to make them wait it out. But if you want to find out more about everything I just talked about, you can do that.
Bills at Jets this week. Let's go for 2-0. As always, Matt Prater, I pray to you. Thanks for hitting the game-winning kick. We'll see you next week.
Go Bills. We'll talk to you next week.